team?
Yep.
Yeah, we're going to Told You So segment, and my Told You So team is the New Orleans Saints. Derek Carr, check down king. I know he was hurt. My questions were, I never doubted. I don't doubt the Saints roster. I think it's a good roster, but the two biggest question marks: quarterback, head coach. And you can have a question mark at one of the two, but you can't have both. Derek Carr, check down king. Their leading receiver was Alvin Kamara with 11 catches for 33 yards.
He had 11 catches.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I just looked that up. And at that point where, because he had like a bone bruise in his elbow or something, I believe, Derek Carr.
No, I think it was an AC in his shoulder, an AC joint in his shoulder.
Or yeah. And correction on the Kamara, it was 13 catches for 33 yards, so even worse.
Okay.
But at that point, you and it's the same thing last year. He refuses to go with Jameis Winston, and I'm not sure what the situation is. But when your quarterback can't throw the ball downfield, you have to change something up because the Saints look terrible.
Well, and it's the same discussion, guys, we've had with Joe Burrow. It's a long season. If you're putting someone out there at 75%, you're doing more harm than good to your football team. Let Jameis go out there, who's healthy, and he can actually stretch the field on Sunday and try to get the Saints offense going. Because, ever since that guy named Drew Brees has left and Sean Payton, well, they want to talk about, Pete Carmichael, he's a great offensive mind. Pete was so good with these meetings with Drew, and he got Derek Carr there, blah, 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 blah. Well, we've seen 3 years of this nonsense, and it's all garbage. But yeah, to your point, Dylan, if Derek Carr's at 75%, it's a long season. Put Jameis out there because you're doing more harm than good to your football team by putting someone injured out there who can't play at his highest.
Yep.
The Eagles sat Jalen Hurts last year for 2 games because they knew that, hey, you know what? Sure, they had one loss at the time, but they were like, we could put him out there at 75%. Maybe he gets hurt against Dallas or the Saints, but you know what? Let's keep him in and get him healthy for this playoff run. So it's okay to miss games if you're not feeling good, guys. People aren't going to dog you if you're trying to come back at 100% to make your team better because you're hurting your team when you're going out there injured.
Yep. And that's all I got for my Told You So team. So Grant.
So we're gonna go back to last Thursday, and the team that won that game, and we're going with the Detroit Lions.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I told you guys I love their offensive line. I think they're going to dominate this year, and that's what they did last Thursday. 211 rushing yards, 4.9 yards per carry. David Montgomery with the 3 TDs. Hopefully, if you guys had him, you played him on your fantasy team, and if you played against someone, they didn't have David Montgomery.
Bingo! I got lucky.
Yes. And then even the Lions, their front 4 on defense finally got after it. 5 sacks of Jordan Love last Thursday. Aiden Hutchinson finally got on the board with 1.5. And it kind of looked like, again, through the first quarter of the year, that I think this Lions team is the team to beat in the NFC North, like I said. The one thing I'd like to see this Lions team do, though, is get Jahmyr Gibbs the ball. He only had 8 carries, but he had 40 yards. That's 5 yards a carry. You draft this guy in the top half of the first round, get him the ball, get him going. Let this offense be explosive because Montgomery and that offensive line had a great game, but when they're going, it's a death by 1,000 paper cuts. And if the Vikings defense can figure this out as the year goes on, when you play the Cowboys, when you play the Niners, when you play the Eagles, this death by 1,000 paper cuts is not going to win you football games for the Lions. As dominant as that group was, they got to get a little more explosive. And Jameson Williams is coming back, so that's nice. But yeah, Detroit on a short week, going in and just putting the whooping in there on Green Bay. That's my I told you so team for the week.
We've already covered this team pretty in depth, so I won't go too far. But the Steelers, I didn't think they'd be great to start the year. Um, they've pretty much proved that. Last week was even worse than I thought, but yeah, we've talked plenty about them. I feel like so we should probably just move on. We've done enough Matt Canada hate tonight. I think.
Ethan
that
Ethan
is true.
Dylan, Ethan is choosing to bury the tape. It's a bury the tape game for Ethan with the Steelers.
It is.
We're not talking about it.
and Ethan, and also Ethan, one that is not one to be petty, toot his own horn type of thing. So when he's saying that it's time to move on, you
Yes.
you just don't question it. You just say, let's move on.